Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is your boy, actor Darren Lipari from 21 Bridges, Mr. Robot. I'm hanging with your boy Galaxy on Comic-Con Radio.
How many cops?
8. Worst day in 18 years.
They responded to a robbery.
That's for Officer Down!
I asked for you for a reason.
I will find them.
If we don't catch these guys in the next 3 or 4 hours, they vanish.
How are you gonna do this?
There are 21 bridges in and out of Manhattan. Shut them down. Stop every train and loop the subways. Then we flood the island with blue.
Mask on,
None of this makes sense. The bid was for 30 keys. We walked in at 300.
Rob the bank.
What's going on here?
I just need the truth, that's all.
They told me you were Fearless, the guy who kills cop killers.
Nobody approach him. He's mine. Represent. You gotta represent.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing in for Comic-Con Radio. Coverage of pop culture events from around the globe. Amazing interviews with celebrities. Daily recaps and reviews of popular television. Movie reviews. Everything Comic-Con and fandom from around the globe. Comic-Con Radio. Get ready to enter our universe. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy on another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Today we have a cool guest. He's on 21 Bridges, Mr. Robot, and a bunch of other TV shows and movies. We welcome Darren Lipari on Comic-Con Radio. Darren, what's up, man? Welcome to Comic-Con Radio.
Hey, what's up, Galaxy? Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Cool, man. So today the sun is shining. It's morning time. How's your day going so far?
Well, so far, so good. I'm actually in Brooklyn at the moment. The sun is kind of partly shining, but it's going good, so it's about the afternoon here. It's a good day, yeah.
That's cool. Well, we're based in L.A. You're in Brooklyn right now, so we're covering the entire United States, coast to coast.
We're doing bi-coastal. That's the whole idea. I was actually in L.A. about a week ago, just got back, but I'm looking forward to heading out there. I really enjoy the West Coast.
Is that where you're originally from, New York?
I am, yeah. I grew up in Long Island, and I've been in Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, all the boroughs for about 10 to 15 years. But as of late, due to, 21 Bridges and some other things, I've been able to kind of start, going to LA for a few months and back and forth since I, have representation on both coasts now, which is really exciting.
So you got somebody on the East Coast, somebody on the West Coast. You get to travel a lot now. That's what I really dig about what you guys do. You guys get to travel a lot. I know it's work and it's stressful, but during your downtime, you get to explore, right?
Yeah, I mean, downtime, definitely. And even that's kind of the cool thing just about being a film or television actor is that, sometimes you go to places that you're working that you've never been to. I mean, even with 21 Bridges, I've been to Philadelphia once or twice briefly, but I was there for a bit of more of an extended period of time. And on the days off, it's just cool to explore the cities and other places where you usually just might not really get a chance to do,
So what's the most favorite city that you've worked in?
That I've worked in? Let's see. So far, I've been to Europe and across the United States, but I do have to say there is something about New York City. It's just very compact, and even when you're shooting something, it's like a crowd starts. I did an episode of Girls, like in the middle of Williamsburg, one day, and it was kind of cool. It was a big turnout, and there's just a good energy and a support about filming in the city because there's really no way of getting around just the amount of people that are there, and it brings a good energy.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I love New York. I lived in New York for a while. It's a different atmosphere, different universe.
Very
West and East, so different. Did you notice that difference as well?
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, I've been kind of going back and forth. I originally went to film school in New York, but I went a semester out in L.A. many years ago. So I've kind of periodically been back and forth, and there's a huge difference. There is more of a relaxed, I guess, the pace. I feel like you really can go at your own pace in L.A. at times. When I mean walking or even not so much driving, let's say, but yeah, it's a different energy. But I truly believe it's funny, New York is such a fast pace, and it kind of forces you to have a type of work ethic. Not that LA doesn't, but I think if you keep that work ethic wherever you go, regardless of the environment, I think it's only to your benefit. And I found that in Los Angeles.
Well, you gotta keep a certain work ethic these days. The competition's high. Yeah, there's a lot going on everywhere. I think these days it's easier to get into the business because you can be popular on social media and there's your opening. You can, just be at a certain city. I have friends in Canada that just walked around and got into TV shows and now they're like A-listers. I'm like, what?
That's great. In Vancouver?
Yeah.
Cool.
Because Canadians thought it was hard for them to get into Hollywood, and now Hollywood's like based heavy in Canada.
Oh, yeah. I mean, shoot a lot up there. I mean, I guess they really started, well, they've always been shooting there, but I guess maybe one of the first bigger ones was the X-Files, I think, back in the 90s. But yeah, they shot, Battlestar Galactica and a bunch of stuff up there.
Well, they shoot.
The Killing.
Oh, yeah, Supernaturals, they do Arrow, they do all these Marvel TV shows, a lot of the Marvel movies, Flash, all those DC hit stuff. The list goes on. I just spoke to Alex Paunovic yesterday. He's a good friend of the show, and he was telling us he's opening a new film studio there in Canada. So that's amazing. Oh, yeah.
That's really cool. I've only been to Toronto and Montreal a bit, but never to Vancouver. But I'd like to work there as well and explore.
Acting for you.
Yeah.
I know you're a director as well. You like writing. Which one do you like more, acting or directing?
Well, that's a tough question. Let's see. I think as far as acting, there is a kind of a cathartic, satisfaction about playing a character and exploring that. But then I find another joy in using that brain to direct and help a film if I'm directing something like that. So, I think right now I enjoy acting more. But I think it's really important for directors, and I think you hear about this a lot, probably for some of your other guests, but it's great when you do have kind of a quote-unquote actor's director, right? Where there is a director who really understands the process. And I remember when I was in film school, they always say, take acting classes, really understand the process of acting, because it really helps to have a shorthand. And when someone's using that terminology, acting terms, it really helps the actor kind of navigate, and it's more of a symbiotic collaboration.
So there's a whole process that you go through, and I know you probably go through different processes with each. Is this something that you kind of wanted to do when you went to school, or was it something that you wanted to do since you were like a little kid?
As far as directing or acting?
As far as acting. Directing, I know probably got into your system a little later, because I don't know a lot of kids that are like, hey, I want to direct the movies. They're probably like, I want to act in movies.
Yeah, maybe like Spielberg or something, right?
Yeah, probably.
I grew up in a performing arts household. My mother is a voice teacher. My dad was a television reporter. He was a journalist. So there was a part of performance that was ingrained in me and a support at a young age. And, as I went through high school, I kind of did a bit of, sketch stuff and variety shows. But it really wasn't until actually after I went to film school. I actually ended up going to film school and wanted to direct. I was a big, really got into David Lynch and Terry Gilliam and just, Orson Welles and all those guys. And then after I got out of film school, I worked in a bit of production in LA for a semester on a TV show. It was actually the Bernie Mac show, which was a great experience. After being on set and watching the process of the acting and just the fun and the work, I kind of started to revisit some of my old performing habits that I did in high school and before, and I started seriously pursuing acting not too long after that. So I kind of started acting or really considering it as this is a career choice. I'm in this for the long haul. About when I was around 25, 26, I didn't go to college for acting. I didn't go to a conservatory. I ended up going to the conservatory after in my late 20s. But yeah, it was. It took a while to catch the acting bug, if you will.
So it took you a while to get that. But like you said, performance was in your family.
So at a young age.
At a young age. Your mom, she was a voice coach, like for singing or for like voiceovers and commercials?
She had a voice for singing. And actually, though, my father was he actually did some voice work as well. There was, a while ago, there was this thing called the Hair Club for Men. Do you recall that at all?
Yes, of course. Bosley.
He did a lot of voiceovers for the Hair Club for Men. He has a great head of hair, by the way, my dad. It's real, but yeah, he has a great radio voice, and he worked in radio and TV, so he did some of that voice stuff, voiceover work. So yeah, it's been great. They've been, it's really important to have, for me, it's worked out where my family is very supportive and encouraging and just kind of knows a bit of the business as well and knows how unpredictable it can be in both ways, you know?
Oh, absolutely. But, the business has changed a lot. I've noticed a huge change in the past 6 to 7 years. I think it's changing. I think it's changing for the better. I think there's more chances and opportunities. I think there's more quality. I think it's such a good time right now if you're trying to get into the arts. But to get back to your dad's commercial, I do remember that. One of the guys just put it up on the screen, and I remember that. I used to see that commercial as a kid. I'm not also the president. I'm also a client.
Yeah, exactly. It's ingrained in your brain. I know. It's so funny how that works.
Ingrained. Thank God I have a full head of hair. But if you don't have hair, that's a good place to go.
Well, yeah. I mean, the technology is great now. But no, I agree with you though. I really do. There's so many platforms, especially for just people who just want to create. Your voice can be heard. There's so many platforms to execute it on and just to share with people, and it's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. So let's go into your filmography. So you worked on a TV show called Mr. Robot.
I don't want to get too much away to people who haven't seen it. It's a great show, but it was a cool.
Spoiler alert, baby. Do it. It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The funny thing is that I'm, and this happens to actors, including myself. Like you get to work, you have no idea what type of job you might get. So I'm a fan of the show, but basically I was kind of finding out spoilers of the next season before I got to even watch it. It was really cool, but also like, oh man, I didn't get to watch that as a viewer. But it was a great experience. Sam Esmail, who is the creator, he was the director of that episode. He's gone on to do Homecoming, which I really like, on Amazon with Julia Roberts. And Stefan James, who ironically is also one of the leads in 21 Bridges. So it was just a great experience to do that. And Sam is such a kind of technical yet passionate. He's has such a Kubrick Hitchcockian vibe, and he really just knows exactly what he wants. And he is very loose, but he's also very particular. And it was just a great learning experience all around.
So what's 21 Bridges about?
21 Bridges is a cop thriller drama set overnight in the vein of kind of like a ticking clock movie, like an Escape from New York or like The Manchurian Candidate. And it stars Chadwick Boseman, obviously Mr. Black Panther, along with J.K. Simmons and Sienna Miller. The crux of the film, or the inciting incident, if you will, there's a massacre of cops. They're investigating some sort of shady drug deal. And there's a large number of cops that unfortunately get killed, which ignites, propels the story to shut all these bridges down in New York to kind of catch these killers overnight. Chadwick Boseman, who plays Andre Davis, he's known for being a bit too heavy-handed with, having a trigger finger. Father was gunned down as a police officer. So he's a great detective, and he's tasked with wrapping this up and bringing, these criminals to justice. The captain, who was J.K. Simmons, I serve under him, and from there we try to get these criminals.
Looks like a great movie, and yeah, there is a cool cast there. Chadwick, Taylor Kish, there's Sienna Miller, there's also J.K. Simmons, Keith David. The list goes on. I saw in this movie that Chadwick really slimmed himself down, because for Black Panther, he gets beefed up.
I really respect him. He's really a character actor, I mean, that they're like, there's a lot of these quote unquote leading men that are really character actors. And if you've seen his work, so obviously from some of the other people he's played, like Jackie Robinson and James Brown. But yeah, he definitely kind of looked a bit different as embodying this character who's really just doesn't pull any punches, a bit more gaunt, tired, frustrated, really just passionate though. But yeah, he definitely had
not the royal prince-like person that he plays in Black
Panther. Exactly. But it was interesting too. He did bring a different type of swagger. It was just not that royal Black Panther swagger. But he's such a focused, hardworking actor on set. Just to work with him as a film geek, as just a lover of cinema and pop culture, to be able to work with him and J.K. Simmons and Sienna Miller and Keith David, Taylor Kish, like it was just like such. I was pinching myself. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And just watching them, work as, which is always, you hear a lot of actors say that, but it's true. I think if you have an opportunity to see how they're doing it, to work, or just to say, okay, I think it's vital to just, be aware of that and see if that can help you in your career and your work ethic and your process.
Well,
if it works for you,
Well, what I get from you is that you're a fan also, and you're a working fan. That's what I get from you, which is really cool. There's a lot of people like that, and it's really great because you have a lot of knowledge. But coming from a person that's working in movies and, you know, you're a working actor and great projects, do you sometimes feel, and I know actors have to feed their families and do all that, do you sometimes feel that when a lot of these A-listers that play in a big Marvel movie or another any major movie as a certain character and the world begins to love them for that character, like, you know, Chadwick, he's known as Black Panther forever, for the rest of his life. He'll go to conventions when he's 80 signing autographs. Do you feel sometimes too close after those major iconic movies, if they play a role in another movie? Does it kind of mess with your mind? Because a lot of fans, it messes with their minds.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about that the other day, actually, because I know I saw a movie that just dropped on Netflix with Chris Evans. I think it's really up to the actor to, again, you're saying, you have to make money, you have to do this. I really feel it's important for that actor, or even if I was speaking for myself, to really try to do something, I don't want to say unrecognizable, but like a really different character role, you know, something that you really can dive into, because if that's what you want to do. Because it's true, you know, it'll be interesting to see, you know, the next Robert Downey Jr. movie, right?
Absolutely.
But I think if, as I said, the choice to really maybe do something, kind of take a moment, take a break, or to really just challenge and do a character that is kind of the 180 of what, you know, that superhero, because, you know, and they could always come back to that, but I really, you know, my favorite actors are, again, like those character actors, like a Gary Oldman, or even I just saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and like, again, like DiCaprio and Pitt are, again, they're in the same vein of like a Chadwick Boseman. They're leading men, but they're really character actors. So I think with those guys, and in general, excluding Chadwick Boseman, I think there's just actors that are going to be able to disguise themselves, and I don't think it's going to hurt. You know, it's not going to be like, oh, Chadwick Boseman. You know what I mean? It's like it's a different movie, even if it's that actor.
Of course, you got to work. You're an actor. You're an artist, basically. Yeah. You're a creative person. You're a creator. Yeah. You have a creative mind. You always have to create, or else you're going to be depressed. I understand. Yeah. That Van Gogh thing comes out. You know. Sure. You're like, cut my ear off. But sometimes, like you said, Robert Downey Jr., you know him, iconic scene, billions of dollars are spent watching that moment when he disappeared in Avengers. And then 6 months later, he's Dr. Doolittle or something. Yeah. It's not my place to say, and I respect everyone. But I think when you're playing in a role that iconic and huge, I think you should take a couple of years off, get people's mindset out of it, and then come in another big-ass movie, because that's what's going to happen. I don't know. That's my point.
Well, no, I definitely agree. And I also feel like now, again, there's a lot of great things about the access we have with social media and all these platforms, but I think there's such an overexposure of just the availability. Like if there was a time back in the 70s or 80s where the only time you saw Harrison Ford or Marlon Brando or whoever, or Warren Beatty or Meryl Streep, was at the Academy Awards or on a talk show. So I feel like as a public, we were able to kind of see them, or Jack Nicholson, able to see them in other types of roles. Now I think our minds are just, we're watching, interviews or YouTube, or we're replaying movies over and over again online. I think there's just, unfortunately, just a subconscious thing that happens now where we see these people as these people all the time. And I'm just kind of just talking out loud here. I just feel like that might have something to do with kind of our brain conditioning ourselves not to want to see, or harder for us to see these other actors as in other roles.
That's true. Unless you're a big fanatic. But you're right. Yeah, everybody's so easy accessible these days. You can catch them on Instagram. You could see how they eat, how they fart. Yeah. It's like the whole thing is like out there. And yeah, you're right. That does probably condition people.
Yeah, no, I think about that actually. Yeah. So, well, I'm glad I could help out.
So, Darren, are you in the works directing anything new, or is there anything else outside of 21 Bridges that you have your claws on right now?
I mean, right now I have a manager in LA that we've been talking about some cool projects in development. I'm really eyeing, I am just putting it out there. I've been such a big Stallone fan since I was a kid. I mean, I was watching Rocky IV probably 30 times when I was about 5 or 6. There's a really cool project he's developing for the History Channel about corrupt cops in the 1920s called The Tenderloin. So we're really closely tracking the development of that. I'm excited about that and some other things. As far as filmmaking, it's interesting. I kind of have been taking a bit of a break from filmmaking, but I was doing a bit of writing out in LA. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of the films I've been making lately have been very mockumentary-like. kind of like Best in Show or Spinal Tap. That's kind of my thing. So I don't know what to spoof right now.
That's cool. You don't got to tell us. It's
okay. Yeah. But no, I definitely feeling a call to access some more of the filmmaking repertoire again.
It's tough, right? It's tough filmmaking. I think you just want to be creative for a while and just act and do that thing, because filmmaking, there's just so much more than what people probably think. It's just like everything and then some.
I mean, it's such a collaboration from hair and makeup to editing to sound to transportation to craft service. And that's what I love about being in film and the film sets. It really is. There's such and I have such an appreciation. I think it was really great that I went through film school and I still, write and direct and edit. I love editing. Like if you're working for a manager at a restaurant and you're a server, if that manager has been a bartender, a server, a food runner, a dishwasher, I guess I'm trying to equate it to as like a director, but there is, the more knowledge you have of all the working parts, regardless if you're the actor or the director, it's a more beneficial experience,
Absolutely. You like putting things in like a format and you follow a certain guideline, very by the point. So with that said, it seems like you're a very serious person, yet you're a fan. Do you believe in aliens?
I definitely I believe the truth is out there. Look, I mean, I think there's a lot of. I'm definitely a spiritual person and definitely believe in other planes of existence. I think there's just way too many questions. It's way too many things in life that we don't know about that just can't be just not there's magic out there. I don't know if we're ever going to get visited or if we're already being visited. But I am as long as it's more of a Close Encounters type of visit rather than an Independence Day visit, I'm all for it.
Wouldn't that be cool? You're like in New York, Dix Hills, wherever you're sitting.
Yeah.
In Dix Hills, do you live near Dix Hill?
No, Dix Hill. That's the hometown I grew up with. That always gets a laugh. I'm like, where are you from? I'm like, Dix Hills. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have a lot of family there.
Oh, no way, man. That's crazy. I mean, that's my hometown.
Nice.
No
yeah,
way.
it's a small yet very cool town. And if people don't know where Dix Hills is, it's I think is it, exit like 45 or something like that, 50?
The Long Island Express, the good old
Long Island Expressway. Yeah. And big houses, big backyards, a lot of wealthy people in that town. Very nice area. I got to tell you a story. I was a kid, right?
Sure.
We went to this party at a relative's house, and all the kids used to get together, and I used to carry a knife, right? So one of the neighbors saw the knife in my hand, and it was like 4th of July. So we're walking down the road. This cop wanted to mess with us. He pulls his car over. There's like 10 of us, and he points at me. He's like, "Which one of you have a knife?" And he pointed at me. And I was like, "I don't got a knife." I was like 8, 9 years old. I was like, "I don't got a knife."
Damn.
He's like, "Step into my car." So imagine an 8, 9-year-old kid going in the back of a cop car. You're like tripping, and you have a knife, and the cop's making you sit there. Then he goes outside, chats with other kids, and all the kids ratted on me. They all ratted on me.
Man.
So the cop was like, "Give me the knife." He made me sit in back of the car for an hour, and then he let me go. So the messed up part is he's messing with kids, but the cool part is he let us go. And he gave me back my knife, too, which was cool. But I don't know why he did that. But everybody ratted on me. But that town is cool like that. That's how they got it, where a neighbor can call and then a cop could come and mess with you and then just drive away.
Sure, that was probably an intense experience for you as a kid. I don't know if it caused any damage or anything, but it probably toughened you up a bit. I mean, it was toughening me up. Shit. I'm like, I've been a cop. I've been arrested before.
I was just happy, man, to get away. Then I boasted to everybody, I knew I was cool. And I told him, "Hey, give me my knife back." And he gave it back. So they were like, "Oh, you told the cop that?" I was like, "Yeah."
Nice, man.
Hey, man.
Wow. Impressed. It's a cool place to grow up.
Imagine you're walking on your porch and you see a UFO showing up. How would you feel?
Wow. I mean, I'm like, "Hey, like, do you guys got some nachos with you? Like some wings?" I mean, it'd be crazy.
Cool, dude,
again, I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I love the X-Files. I love the Twilight Zone. I love all that stuff, all the alien conspiracy stuff. So yeah, I'd be again. I would be inviting and friendly and just
they're listening, man. They're listening. They're gonna come get you. And they're going to be like, "Oh, you
come
like
get
it."
me.
Marvel or
I've been
DC?
more like, hey, you want to like grab a drink or something? You know,
Yeah.
let's just talk. Hang.
Here's another good one. Marvel or DC? Which one?
Oh man, do I have to choose? All right, look. All right, look. So here, I have family, Marvel family in my blood. So my mother's uncle was the editor-in-chief for Marvel Comics back in the early 90s. His name is Tom DeFalco, great guy. I just want to preface that with that. So look, I have Marvel, I have a Marvel connection, and I love the Marvel films. I think they've got, I love how they choose their directors, and the Russo Brothers, which were, when I found out they were producers of 21 Bridges, it was really cool. I think Marvel really knows they've got it down, and they really, they're finding a good line between like fan service and really just telling the stories they want to tell. I do like there was a darkness to DC before they kind of scrapped the whole, I guess, Justice League kind of DCEU that I really was liking, that I wanted them to explore more. So I got to go with Marvel, but I really liked what DC was trying to do. I think they really just were trying to catch up with Marvel, and I really just wish they kind of just had some patience and was able to kind of explore their universe.
That's pretty cool. That answer is like perfect. Everyone answers different, and I know a lot of actors have to be like in the middle of the road, but it's good to hear, that certain things are more meaningful. And the Russo brothers, very cool. So yeah. Here's the thing what people don't know, or they might know. So there was a show called Deadly Class. It did one amazing season. Russo Brothers coordinated all the fight scenes for that. And then they did the Avengers, and now 21 Bridges. What a big difference.
Yeah, I know. This movie is very different in the sense of its, choreography. It's really got that like French Connection vibe. It's kind of like a lot of gunplay and chases. So there's not too much kind of hand-to-hand, Winter Soldier type stuff going on. But I feel like the Russo brothers are really fans of, they're huge, film geeks as well. I really feel with this film, they were trying to bring back kind of what they did with the Winter Soldier, these kind of 70s, like maybe a throwback to a bit of more of their childhood. And I feel like with 21 Bridges, it's got that kind of, that vibe, kind of just all the practical effects and kind of really just a lot of tension, kind of the 70s, 80s type thriller where the ticking clock is going to expire and we need to get this done no matter what. And it's kind of like, there's no big beam coming through the sky or anything like that. It's really just kind of man to man, real people, gritty. And I think I want, again, I'm assuming, I'm guesstimating here, but I feel like the Russo brothers wanted to work with Chadwick Boseman on a film like this, maybe to call back and kind of do something very different. They just spent, gosh, how many years on these huge movies?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And these movies take years to film, to develop and to lead to it. The cool thing is with the Russo brothers, they worked their way up. They just didn't just jump into a big major movie. Some directors and some producers get lucky. Yeah. They jump into big projects, but they worked their way up. And I see that with you as well. You're like working your way up into like big major roles. And do you see yourself hitting some big major movies in the near future?
I hope so.
We hope so, right?
That would be great.
Premonition, baby. I'm going to wish that for you.
Yeah. Well, look, I think you're ready when you're ready. I think there's no overnight successes, right? I've been doing this for a bit, and I learn from every job I do, and I, keep going, and you just get better. You're always learning. You're, let's say the Russo brothers or anyone else, it's a long game. There's always a new challenge and something to force at you. But I think if you truly work hard and you love what you do, you are going to get to a place that you feel satisfied in, regardless of what type of accolade or whatever external stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Mr. Robot was a great show, and now you're in this movie, and people get to see a diversity. I
think, that's the thing. It's like there was a few jobs I did before that helped me get Mr. Robot, then I'm sure having Mr. Robot on my resume and some other stuff helped me with 21 Bridges and so on and so on. Cool thing about lately is that, I do tend to get cast or play kind of law enforcement, blue collar type guys. But the cool thing about Mr. Robot and 21 Bridges is that I'm getting to a point now where I have a bit more screen time to develop and show kind of a bit more of character. Not that there's any ever small roles, as the famous saying goes. No small parts or small actors. But there is something to be said about how much screen time you can get, but you're always making the most of that. Or, how the script dictates how your character... Because, look, sometimes you're really just serving a story or kind of connecting a dot to another scene. But in these few roles, in Mr. Robot and 21 Bridges, there are character arc. There is space to, show a bit more of what I can do, you know?
Would you give up your total paycheck if they tomorrow called you and said, hey, this is a role, it's going to put you over into an iconic character, but no money, would you take it?
Yeah, because look, the money for me, that all, we all have to work. I didn't get in this for fame. I didn't get in this for money. I think it's very important to make a living of what you do, and it's important to do that, but it's always going to be about the love and the passion and then the creative spirit in me. I think, again, with anything, if you love what you do, that money will come and it's going to be a bonus. You know, it's because that's what you get, that's what you always hear. And I say to myself, wow, I get paid, right? It's like, I get paid to do this. I get paid to be sitting in a room with, J.K. Simmons and Chadwick Boseman and Sienna Miller and Taylor Kitsch and Stephen James, and I get to work with them. It's.
Here's the thing. Here's to answer that. I'm going to give you 6 names right now that I think you should follow their projects and get in their movies. Okay, you ready?
All right. So,
okay.
All right, do I need a pen and paper for this? Hold on.
No. It's recorded. You're going to get to listen to this. Here you go.
Yeah. I might have the same. Yeah. All right. Let's see if I. Yeah.
Okay. Josh Whedon, Kevin Feige, the Russo Brothers, Jon Favreau, and this is my favorite, right? Taika Waititi, he's cool. Coen Brothers, and there's a few more here and there, but I think those names you should follow, try to get into their stuff because they've been part of amazing, cool projects, and I think they're going to be.
Oh, yeah.
And Quentin Tarantino, of course. Yeah. Robert Rodriguez. Just hit it, man. Hit these parts up, and I think these iconic roles will start sprouting.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's a great list. And, I've always felt like kind of like a kindred spirit with Jon Favreau ever since I saw Swingers, So,
And look where they started and look where they're at now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the new Batman?
I think Robert Pattinson is a great choice. I don't know if a lot of people have seen his other work besides Twilight. When I heard that, there's a movie called Good Time, The Rover. He is a great actor. He's a great character actor. Again, he has a real darkness about him. And I think that's really going to be interesting to see. I was actually very excited when I heard about that casting. I mean, there was a part of me that was slightly disappointed that they didn't go into the older Batman, which I was curious to see with the Matt Reeves film. I think Matt Reeves is still directing, though, right?
I think they chose him based on a character he played in that movie Cosmopolis. He plays it like this billionaire sitting in a limo.
Movie.
Rude billionaire.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's going to do it. I'm looking forward to it. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised. But also going back to what you were saying before, because I want to interject on that. It is really cool, just seeing the Spider-Man movie recently and just having Mysterio. That was such a cool thing to have a character like that now being shown and his whole thing,
Oh yeah. He's the most unlikely character, and look, it looked so great in that movie.
Oh yeah, it was cool.
I think with today's technology, they can take those B or C rated, comic book icons and make them into A-rated movies.
Oh yeah,
because those
Definitely.
B or C rated characters in the comics were very far fetched, like Mysterio, with all that stuff around it. But with today's technology, they can make it amazing because all I call them the A-lister comic characters. They're just normal, they're just wearing a tight bodysuit and they just run around with muscles,
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I think it's an exciting. Yeah, it's a great time for comic book fans, I think. And again, now just watching the release of Phase 4, I was like, damn. I was because I'm after Endgame, I'm okay. I'm Marvel is really gonna have to, not that I didn't think they were gonna disappoint, but after that huge 22 movie or whatever it was, arc, I'm I could see how people might be all right, how are you gonna get us, back? What's that next thing? And after they released Phase 4, I was like, wow, damn, okay, you guys know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, and look, the new Doctor Strange is going to be more like a horror flick. It's just so many.
Yeah, I heard about
things.
That. Yeah,
so many things.
It's really, I know. I got to get Disney Plus, right? I think everyone's going to get Disney Plus.
Well, there's a new platform, as a DC Universe platform. It shows all their shows, and then Marvel is working on one. There's so many cool things, but we want everybody to be happy with them, and we want to see you in these movies, man. I can't wait to one day for you to be in these, Darren.
Thank you. I mean, I appreciate your support. And look, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm gonna be doing this until I can't do it anymore. I'm gonna just do it because I love it, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to all the opportunities.
Well, when we were at Comic-Con, we saw the 21 Bridges trailer. It was amazing. And
Thank you.
I hope you get to go to many Comic-Cons. Darren, is there anything you want to say to the fans before we start heading out, brother?
Hey, guys and girls. Thank you for listening. It was great chatting and just talking a bit more. Go check out 21 Bridges. It's an exciting movie that I think everyone's going to enjoy and something for everyone in that film. I appreciate all the views of the trailer and all the support. It's going to be an entertaining ride. Thank you.
That's awesome, brother. And if they want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you on social?
Sure. You can reach me at, and this is a bit of a joke, it's called @The Real Darren Lipari.
A lot of people have that big, huge...
The Real, right?
Multi-million dollar accounts have The Real on it, or the official.
The Real? Yeah, it's funny because I always, like, well, what about the other, other guy? Is he not, No, but I know it's a joke. But yeah, you can do that. The Real Darren Lipari at Instagram and on Facebook as well. Yeah, and then you can also check out my website, DarrenLipari.com. It's just got some of my short films, some of my reels, some of my other work that I do on the side.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get a hold of Darren, go to The Real Darren Lipari on Instagram. Don't go to the other Darren Lipari or to the old lady Lipari Darren. Don't go to that one because that's not him. But check him out. Go to his website, DarrenLipari.com. Say hi to him. Watch 21 Bridges. Mr. Robot. You'll see his character.
Yeah, definitely check out Mr. Robot.
Yeah. And your character's name on Mr. Robot was? Houston, right?
Wow.
Was that the name? Houston?
Houston, yes. Damn, Houston.
Hey, man,
yes.
I know more than you. Come on. Get with it, Darren.
I'm sorry, man. I'm still drinking my coffee here. No, because Mr. Robot, the last season's coming out soon, the final season. So it's really, really important to check out all those prior seasons. Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, Mr. Robot, watch that. Ladies and gentlemen, and with that said, this is Galaxy, and we're signing out from another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And Darren, you ready? Let's give him a billion kisses. 3, 2, 1. Mwah. This has been a fun episode. We love you guys. Peace.
Peace.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing out from another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Tune in for your daily shows of Comic-Con Radio. Go to comiccon-radio.com. Reach us on social media. Instagram @Comic-Con Radio. Comic-Con Radio, taking the world one listener at a time.
Oh, it was great, man. It was really cool meeting you, man. Thank you so much, dude.